Imagine working for 10 years for a company, and the first 4 years, they pay you Taco Bell. The first 4 years you work for the company, they pay you like $1,200 a month. And then the next 3 years at the company, they pay you the minimum salary of the workers at the company. And then the next 3 years, you're able to bargain based on your performance and get a raise individually each year, a 1-year contract. And then they tell you how much you suck for 3 straight years.
He's a legend.
But I want to talk about specifically how stupid and insulting the baseball contract situation is, because I don't think very many people think about it. So you play youth baseball, you play travel baseball, you're a top 1% player. You're a player who is good enough to get drafted out of high school. If you're not one of the top 10 to 30 picks, you're not getting a really big salary bonus, a big signing bonus. Big is relative, right? Like some people, well, they get $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money, especially when you're 18 years old. And it is, but it's not $10 million. It's not the type of money where your money can make money and you don't have to do anything anymore. It's not that type of money. Let's pretend a dude that gets drafted out of high school, plays 3.5 years in the minor, progresses every year. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, gets drafted after graduation, signs immediately, plays rookie ball. He's better than his age at rookie ball. So now that's his 18 year. Next year, he's his 18, 19 year. He plays single A. He moves beyond that. So the year after is his 19, 20 year. He plays double A. He moves up. The next year goes to play triple A in his age 20, 21 year. 3 years out of high school. And then in his age 21 to 22 year, he is in the major leagues as a rookie. Let's assume for the sake of argument that that's the thing. So now for 3.5 years, he's toiling in the minor leagues. And in the minor leagues, you don't make any money. So they get their signing bonus and you make nothing. You make barely enough money to get like a McDonald's value meal or Taco Bell for dinner. That's like it. Top 1% out of high schools drafted, way lower. A lot of high schools. So you toil for 3 years riding around on buses, making $1,000 a month. For 3.5 years. You know, in the off season, you got to put in a lot of work at your craft to get better. Let's assume that this is a perfect world and like you progress every year. You don't spend 2 years in double A or 1.5 years in triple A or whatever. Yes, I know there are some people that make the majors at 19. Yes, I know there are some people that make that take 6 years to make the majors. I'm just saying, let's say he progresses every year. Gets to the majors. First year in the majors, you make the league minimum, which is a good amount of money now. Now you're making a few $100,000 a year. Awesome. Graduated high school at 18. 22, you're making a few $100,000 a year. Great in America. The next year you make like that plus 10 or 15%. The next year you get another, you get a small raise again. So now you're 3 years in the major leagues. You have compiled a major league resume. Now you have arbitration. You have 3 arbitration years. You are under team control for 6 years. And now you go to arbitration. Your agents spend a lot of time saying he made it through the minors like this. He made it to the major leagues. This is what he did. And he's progressed each of these 3 years. These are his statistics, those 3 years. And this is where his career arc is going. And we can track that versus other players with a similar statistical comparison to him over their first 3 years and where their career arcs went at the same position. And so therefore, we believe that in his first arbitration year, he is worth X amount of dollars based on him and the comps and everything else. And then the team goes, nah, he sucks. We don't want to pay him that. We don't think he's that good at all. We think that the comparisons for him are these other players whose numbers are worse than him and that kind of suck. Can you explain arbitration? So like the agent says, we think he's worth this and these are the comps. The team goes, nah, he sucks. These are the comps, right? They're way down here. The agent says he should make $6 million a year. And the team's like, nah, 2. He sucks. And if they can't agree, sometimes they agree, rarely. If they can't agree, they go to an arbitrator who then says their argument is the better argument. This is what he gets awarded. Either the team wins or the player wins the arbitration hearing. And then that's his salary for the next year. And then they do that again for 2 more years. The team is telling you how much they hate you for 3 years. You spent 3 or 4 years in the minors. You spent 3 years making the league minimum, then another 3 years of them telling you, we want to pay you as little as possible because we don't think you're as good as your stats or you think you are. And then 10 years after your draft, in this perfect scenario, you get to be a free agent. You get to choose where you want to play. You'll have multiple teams bidding on you, in theory. If you made it through the first 6 years of your career, you're probably going to sign somewhere, as long as you're being reasonable about your ask. And in some way, you get to pick where you play, because you'll probably have, between 2 and 5 teams that are interested in you. Maybe the team that you've been playing for. And then if you choose to play somewhere else, you pick a city that is better for you and possibly your family, because you're 28 years old and you probably have a family at that point, or at least a wife or a serious girlfriend. Maybe you don't, who knows, but maybe you do. So you're going to choose a place that has schools that suits your style of life, is the climate that you like. Maybe it's where you want to live in the offseason. Maybe it's close to home where you grew up. Who knows? Maybe it's just, look, I got a certain amount of years to make money. They offer me the most money. I'm going to get the bag. Whatever it is. Let's say you go to a different team. You leave in free agency. Now you have to deal with people thinking, oh, he's greedy. He only left for what a traitor. And they spell it Trader because the internet are dumb. The internet is full of dumb people. Oh, God, I hate him. He left our team. The team that just spent 3 years telling him how much they suck. And we don't want to pay you. 10 years to get to that point. And not everyone makes it. Not everyone makes it. And the baseball draft is tens of rounds long. They got to draft a ton of players to fill the minor leagues that they don't pay. So, not a lot of dudes that play minor league baseball make the 40-man roster or end up playing on the 25-man during the season. What kind of batting average must you maintain to make it to getting a contract? It depends. Positions matter. A catcher doesn't have to hit as well as a first baseman. A shortstop or a second baseman doesn't have to hit for as much power as a corner outfielder or a corner infielder. That's why I said your comps are based on your position and your projectable position moving forward. A center fielder has more leeway than a left fielder. And average major league salary is $4.17 million. Yeah, because some guys make $25 and $30 million, but most don't. If you drew a bell curve with the average salary, most of them would be to the left of the average. Some guys make it to free agency. It's a 10-year grind on average to get to free agency. And a few sign early. Mike Trout, Evan Longoria, Fernando Tatis will sign a contract while still within those first 6 years of being in the major leagues. They'll give up their first few years of free agency to lock in more money during their first 6 years of team control. They'll sign for the duration, so they get paid more for years let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they're going to get paid less because they're not going to go to an open market for years 7, 8, 9. That's what Trout did. He was signed till he was 30, and then he signed another long-term deal. Giancarlo Stanton, Evan Longoria, Mike Trout, Tatis, a few others. So people see the big contract a few guys get, and they're see, baseball players make a ton of money. Not comparatively. Not comparatively to football players. Definitely not comparatively to basketball players. But basketball players, there's only 12 of them on each team, and they're making a ton of money. The league is making a ton of money, so the players get to share revenue of everything that comes in. X percent has to go to player salaries. That's what the CBAs are. That's what all the negotiations are. Players always want a little bit more of the share of revenues to go to salaries, and the owner's no, we want the money. Just thinking about how insulting to the worker Major League Baseball contracts are, it's dizzying for me. It's absolutely insane. The gauntlet that those guys have to go through just to get to free agency. And hopefully there is some interest in you at that point that a team will sign you to a free agent deal. There's a lot of guys that never make it there that are major league talents. Maybe it's a major league pitcher, and in year 2 they blow out they get Tommy John and they can't make it back, or year 3 they can't make it back and they never make it through their arbitration years. They don't cash in. Then they have to sell insurance. A lot of Major League Baseball players end up selling insurance, selling cars. It's weird to think that, because most people think, oh, you were a Major League Baseball player, you made a ton of money. You're a professional baseball player, you made a ton of money. Think about it this way too. The kids that go to college eat better than the dudes that are playing professionally in the minor leagues. You go to college, you got a training table, right? I had friends in the football team. I saw the training table. It's phenomenal. It's crazy how good the college kids eat, or can. Right? They are provided with nutritious meals. You're on your own. Baseball is just archaic in the way that they support. These are professional baseball players. These are the guys that you want to be the future of your franchise, and you're not paying them and you're not feeding them. and then you spend 3 years giving them the league minimum, and then, 3 more years telling them how much they suck, then maybe they make the free agency. It's crazy. And then the owners lock them out, and a discussion comes around, well, the players are being greedy. Nah, it's not the players, man. And we see the big flashy contracts. Max Scherzer, God, he's almost 40 years old, and he's got a 3-year, $130 million contract. Yeah, he does. But for every one Max Scherzer, there's 500 that never make it to free agency. Like, the numbers are... Like, there's no solution here. There's no... Like, it's not like, okay, well, here's my conclusion on how we fix it. It's just more of a situation of how messed up. I don't think many people really see it as crazily as it actually is. Because like football, you can hit free agency in 3-4 years. You can sign a free agent deal. Long as you're healthy, you could just play. You can retire at 30. Baseball, a lot of guys don't even hit free agency until 29, 30. And at that point, you're actually past your theoretical prime, which is 24 to 29. So you're being paid for what you did instead of being paid for what you're going to do. And teams don't want to pay you for what you did. They want to pay you for what you're going to do. But the system is set up to do just the opposite. It's a situation that screws the players at every turn. Pujols signed a 10-year contract at like 30. That's when he cashed in. He did not return value for the last 5 years of that contract. He got paid. I'm happy that he got paid. But like when he was doing damage, when he was the MVP, he was not making money relatively to his talent level. Baseball's messed up, man. I think it's the best sport for kids in terms of actually developing and learning. Other sports don't teach you how to fail. Other sports don't teach you the things that baseball teaches you. It's hard. If you make a mistake, you can get hurt. The ball is hard, and if it hits you, it hurts. And like you're gonna get hit by ground balls, and like you got to deal with it. You got to learn the difference between being hurt and being injured. The ball hit me. All right, are you okay? You need a hug or need a doctor? Can you tough it out or need to be? If you can sit down, if you need an ice pack, we'll get you one. But like you need to know this stuff about yourself. Baseball teaches you a lot about yourself. Baseball, you're up there. You're going to fail or you're going to succeed. Soccer, basketball, if you're not that good, you can just pass. There's no pass in baseball. Ball gets hit to you, you have to field it. You're standing at the plate with a bat, you're going to sink or swim. That's it. You're going to hit the ball or you're not. But like when it comes to the major leagues, man, do they abuse their workers. And get away with it. People take the owner's side. The owners deserve it. They deserve all that money. The players deserve the money. The owners deserve money because they bought a thing. They get their dividend on their investment and the principal investment goes up. But like, you guys know my argument, my rant, all owners are replacement level, right? If we got 30 new owners in baseball, MLB would be the same. Nothing would change. But if you took the 1,200 best baseball players in the world and you said, we're not going to play with them anymore, we're going to play with the 1,201 through 2,400, the game would struggle. It would suck. These guys aren't good. They can't throw strikes as often. They can't hit the ball as well. They can't do whatever. So it is what it is. And I don't see it changing anytime soon, but I did want to talk about it because I find stuff like that extremely interesting. And I know it's probably boring to a lot of people, but thank you for listening to my rant on how stupid baseball salaries are and the entire market. Like, it's just so dumb. Like, I'm not hating at all when I critique a contract from a roster building standpoint. I'm happy everyone gets paid.
He's a legend.